clearing close in the forest you'll find a fabulous banquet, a fairy ball. If you close your eyes and you open your mind, the veil disappears and you'll see it all.
Hi my angels, it's Hailey Reese, and today's video is one that I've been meaning to share with you guys for a while, but have felt really afraid to be entirely honest with you. Now, I've told you guys how my family had a stalker growing up. It was one of my mom's ex-boyfriends who couldn't let go, and how he's been up to some pretty wild shenanigans lately, and that is true, and I will definitely do an update video on that as well. But what I didn't tell you guys is that for the last 10 months, I have been experiencing what I can only call a form of stalking that is just getting to the point of terrifying. And I was afraid to share it with you guys, mostly because I know this person watches my videos, and I don't know if by talking about him or like talking about the situation on my channel is gonna like escalate things or where it's gonna take it. But at the end of the day, you guys, I want to share with you what I experienced and my responsibility in it, if I can even say that, and just kind of help you guys to understand how little decisions that we deem to be harmless can actually bring upon some pretty terrifying situations. So if you guys want to hear about my current stalker and what's been going on with it, then all you gotta do is just keep on watching today's video. Now, I really quickly want to say, I know, because I thought this before I got on YouTube, like, how does every YouTuber have a stalker? And I always wondered that, and I'm starting to realize that I think I know a lot of people have stalkers, and I know that it's a serious thing, but I think the problem with putting who you are on the internet is, well, it's a blessing and a curse, because I want you guys to know who I am as a person. I want you to feel like you know me because we are a family. But when somebody has a level of infatuation beyond, like, you know, what, like a family feeling, sometimes by posting all about yourself and who you are on the internet, they really feel like they have this like intimate connection with you. And so I think it's a little bit harder to be a YouTuber when you have a stalker, because they feel like they're in on every single day of your life, whereas if you have just like a stalker and you don't post everything on the internet, they can only speculate what's going on in your life and who you are as a person. So this story kind of dates back to about what I would say 10 months ago or so, just under a year ago, and I was out to eat with my sister and one of her really good friends. Now, this was around hockey season when it was like escalating and getting really, really good. And in Canada, hockey is like your football. Like, what we think of hockey and the level that we hold it to is what you guys hold your football to. So I want you to imagine a sports bar / restaurant on a football Sunday. This is what this place was on a Saturday night. It was like a hockey game's on, it's filled with sports fans, there's so many people in here, everyone's drinking, everyone's eating food, and they're having a really good time. So I had ordered a 9-ounce glass of wine. We had this big like appetizer platter we were sharing. My sister and her friend are underage, so they were not drinking. My sister was my DD, and we were just having a really good time until we got onto this subject that was really heavy, and we were both sad over it. And so I'm a really sensitive person. I kind of started to cry. Now, I wasn't full-blown bawling in the restaurant. I just had like, you know, little tears in my eyes, and I was kind of dabbing them. And at this point in time, my wine just so happened to be empty. All of a sudden, my server comes back to the table with a full second 9-ounce glass of wine, and I'm like, I didn't order this. And she goes, no, a gentleman ordered it for you, and he said, you know, it's his treat to you. You look like you're having a tough night or whatever. And I was like, I can't accept this, but thank you so much. And she goes, well, you see, he already paid for it, so if you don't accept it, it's totally okay, but it's just kind of gonna go to waste. Like, it's already been paid for. So I was like, oh, okay, well, tell him I'm really appreciative. Thank you. I said, who was it? And she goes, he doesn't want you to know. He doesn't even want to meet you. He just wants to give you this drink. And I was like, okay. So I accept the drink, and I'm looking around this like bar, restaurant, like sports bar thing, and there's so many people, and I'm trying to see if someone looks like they might have been the one to have bought the drink for me, but I don't see anybody. And I'm like, well, okay, well, that was really nice, and I drink it, and we're still hanging out, and all of a sudden, when that glass is done, another glass of wine comes. And I'm looking at her like, are you crazy? These are like big 9-ounce glasses of wine. I'm not trying to get drunk. I'm just trying to have like, you know, a good night with my sister. And so she brings it over, and I'm like, oh, I didn't order this. And she's like, same guy. I said, but and as I'm like talking like that, she goes, already paid for again. And I was like, dang. I said, listen, I'll accept this one because he's paid for it. Can you please let him know no more please. And if he tries to order more for me, just please, like, don't bring it over. Like, I don't want any more. And she's like, that's fine. And I was like, are you sure you can't tell me who it is? She's like, no, he insisted. I was like, all right, whatever. So nearing the end of our dinner, my sister's friend was telling me how she's going out to LA and she wanted to meet up with one of the people that she had met up with when we were down there and go on one of these tours. Because when we lived in LA, we'd actually flown her out. Well, she came out and like had a good time with my sister. So she wanted to meet up with them and go on like this tour thing again. And I was like, okay, I'll give you all the information, take my phone number and text me and I'll send it all to you. She's like, what's your phone number? Now, exactly at the tone that I'm talking at right now, I said, I'm gonna make up a random number. I was like, 124-224-1243. And it was literally like that. She's like, awesome, sounds good. We finish the dinner, we leave. Later that night, I'm laying in bed and I get a text message really late at night. And so I roll over because I'm like, who's texting me at this time? Is it something bad? I look and I see a text message from a number that I don't have saved, and it says, you're welcome for the wine. So I just knew right away that it was the person who I had accepted the wine from, but I had no idea how on earth he had gotten my phone number. So I reply and say, how did you get my number? And he goes on to say, you guys, I assumed since you said your phone number out loud like that, you were hoping I'd jot it down and text you. Now this floored me, because I don't agree with any sort of approach like that. If you want to talk to somebody, if you want somebody's phone number, if you want to go, whatever the case may be, you should approach them yourself, make conversation, introduce yourself, and ask. And therefore, they decide if they feel comfortable giving you their phone number. I had no idea who this person was, no idea how old they were, nothing. It's just a random person who bought me wine. I had no idea who. And he took it upon himself to think that I had done that for him. Okay, so that's a creepy thought within itself. So I very nicely but sternly reply saying, listen, I think that's really wrong that you just heard my phone number and assumed that it was for you. I said, I appreciate the wine. I was having a tough night. I do appreciate it. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be communicating with you because this approach is just really inappropriate. And he starts replying, completely disregarding what I just said. You're so beautiful. You're so amazing. I swear you're like my dream girl. I found your YouTube videos. You're amazing. You're this or that. And when I read, I found your YouTube videos, I was like, you can't just see a random person in a bar and be like, oh, I'm going to search them and find them on the internet. They make YouTube videos. Like, it just doesn't happen. And so I was like, this is really strange. He goes on and on. I mute my phone because it's late at night. And the next day I wake up to tons of text messages being like, you're beautiful, go out with me, blah, 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 blah. And the final one really threw me off. And the final one says, we have a date this Friday, same spot, 7 p.m. See you there. So I have not replied this person. He's literally only gotten 2 responses out of me. The first one saying, how'd you get my phone number? And the second saying, that was really inappropriate. I don't want to speak to you. And now we have a date, which I don't know about you guys, but a date is 2 to tango. You know, you can't go on a date without the other person agreeing. Like, what the heck? And so I don't answer. Come that Friday at that time, my phone is blowing up with phone calls from this person to the point where all of a sudden the restaurant bar's phone number starts calling me. So he asked to use their phone to call me. Off the hook, off the hook, off the hook. Now the first alarming, as if this isn't alarming enough, sign is that he leaves a voicemail on my phone that says, listen, Hailey. So he knows my name, which I've never told him. I don't know if he heard my sister call me my name. Maybe that's how he found me on YouTube. I don't know. My sister doesn't go around saying Hailey Reese. She just says Hailey. But so he's like, listen, Hailey, I can be the nicest of people, but if you cross a line with me, I'll be your worst nightmare. And I'm like, what the heck? And he's like, how dare you stand me up? Blah, blah, blah. How can you stand somebody up if you never said you'd be there? So I'm like, this person is actually insane. So I block his phone number. For a few days, everything's fine until all of a sudden I get a text message from a new phone number. And it says, hey, Hailey, don't think my messages and calls were going through. It's blank, which he had told me in like the first little messages. I got a new phone number and phone so I could text you. I'm like, I don't even reply to you. Like, what the heck? So I blocked that number too. And a few days later, a female calls me and she's like, hey, is this Hailey? And I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, she passes the phone and it's like, hey, it's so-and-so, blah, blah. And I'm like, the heck? And I said, please stop messaging me. Please stop calling me. I am not interested in this, blah, blah, blah. He just doesn't say anything, so I hang up. Then I find like little comments on my YouTube videos saying like, hey, it's me, which this is from a while ago. I don't see them anymore. It was when my channel was a lot smaller, so I could really like zone into each and every comment. Like, I try to read every comment now, but it was a little easier before. Basically where I'm at now is it has been, it's been about 10 months and I keep getting messages from random numbers saying it's him, saying he gets new phone numbers, and basically saying, hey Hailey, you looked beautiful. So I don't know if he's stalking me to the point where now he's like seeing me in public, or if he's just seeing me on like Snapchat and social media and saying it through that. I continuously block this person's number, and somehow every few weeks he pops up again with phone calls and text messages in little spurts. Like, it'll be like a few days where I get a bunch of them, and then like I don't get them for a bit, and then a bunch of them, and then I don't get them for a bit. But the most recent was that he had just said, I can't get over how breathtaking you look today. And I hadn't posted anything anywhere, and I hadn't posted a video, and there was just like nothing on social media that day. But I also don't think it was possible for him to have seen me. So I don't know if it's just like a tactic to be like nice, or I don't know, you guys. I don't know if I should be afraid. I don't know if this is like just like an infatuation gone further than it should have. I just really don't know, and I just really wanted to come on here and ask you guys. Now, the one thing I want to say, the big main message of this video is be very careful what you say in public places. I thought that I had set my phone number at such a low pace, or such a low tone, that nobody around me would take it. And even if they did, it's like, it's common courtesy. You don't jot down someone's phone number without their permission. But you just have to be really careful. I also want to say that it's really sad that I now no longer will probably ever accept a drink from somebody, especially if I can't see them, because the scariest part of all of this is I have no idea what this person looks like, how old they are, who they are. So they could be next to me in public and I have like zero clue who they are. They could be following me every day and I can't even like put a face to like the voice and everything. It's just really creepy, and I just encourage you guys to just be very careful in public places. I tend to believe that everybody has my heart and everybody has my thought process, and I am slowly but surely, the older I get, realizing that that's just not the case, and we just have to be very careful. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this. Do you think it's something to be concerned about? I mean, obviously it's concerning behavior, but do you think it's like a harmless, crazy, insane infatuation, or do you think it's going to escalate to something more? I don't know. I hope that it doesn't get worse after posting this video. But I really wanted to share this with you guys, because if you guys can learn from my mistakes in this story, then I mean, I'm doing my part, right? If you guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos. I don't want you to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up. It makes my heart super happy when you guys do that. So please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.